What's up, guys? This is Wenzes. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about extroverted feeling, and of course it comes from an INFJ standpoint. It is based on me looking at what has helped me as an INFJ because I have developed a lot of my FE during the years. You can just check out my old videos, but even before that. But in general, I think once we understand what's going on, then this can help also other personality types that have FE, even personality types who have it just in their in their shadow functions. But you know what's best for you. Just take it as my way. This is how I did it, and if it inspires you, if it helps you, great. If not, maybe you just know what doesn't work for you. But for me, that thing made a huge difference, and I've used it with my clients, with people I know. It makes a lot of sense. So the first thing that I have to say is that I believe FE is completely misunderstood from many, and it's easy to misunderstand, because if you think about FE or extroverted feeling, it kind of seems like it's just creating harmony in the outside world, and making peace and everything being nice and all of that. And that's just not the case. That's pretty much the case when you're in a place of, well, I actually want to use my FE to be part of your world and just harmonize with that so I don't bother you. I create harmony in your world. But creating harmony is just an option. That's not what FE is about. And the bad thing about it is, you using that FE, if you have a person who is a little bit more conscious about these, just everything with feeling or with intuition, they can tell that you're faking it, that this is not the real you, no matter how well you do, because of, hopefully you'll have friends who are, present enough and just aware enough to realize that this is not the real you, and they won't tell you you're not being yourself, you're not being, who you really are, but they will just be aggravated because you're just not giving any contrast to who they are. You're just pretty much just just holding on to them, leeching onto them. And I've made experience with that a lot. People especially feelers, they go crazy with this stuff. You feel like you're doing them a favor, but you're not, because they cannot see who you are, and then when they can't see who you are, they can't make a judgment about you, but in a positive way, so they know what you're about. They don't it just doesn't work. And so harmony is just a thing you can do with FE in general is, especially if you have it as a creative function, right? But FE in general is emotional atmosphere, and you decide what kind of emotional atmosphere you put out. So for example, look at me, right? The way I talk, the way I present myself in general, I evoke a lot of respect, or people don't want to deal with me. You will not see in my comment section people, thinking they can pass judgment on me that much. It just doesn't happen, because people are either what is she talking about, or they're into this. But that's just my way of there's this aura of I just demand respect, and I don't demand respect by the things I say. I demand respect by the way I show myself, by the way I talk, by the titles I choose, by everything. I'm rather somebody who keeps people at distance, who do not give me what I want, in a respectful manner. And it comes with me no matter where I go, no matter what I talk about. That is FE. You can create with FE whatever you want, and it's not always positive. You can create with FE a feeling of I'm a victim, because every way I create an emotional atmosphere about it's this aura you create when you go out. You can create an aura of saying, well, I'm a victim. I don't believe in myself. I say sorry about everything. I used to be like this. My friends in high school, everybody said, you're apologizing way too much. You do not stand up for yourself. It's not only because of the things I say, it's the way I create it, right? That's the emotional atmosphere, and it has a lot to do with how much I'm willing to push people away. With FE, you decide that's either this is where you live in, or you're not part of my world. And you can, if you use it right, it can be really, really well, because it's not you say, oh, an undeveloped INFJ doesn't use FE at all. Well, actually they do, but you can create a thing of I'm not respected, or I'm a martyr, or I'm the one who can sustain so much pain and handle it and so on. And if you have this FE created around you, you're naturally pushing everybody away who could possibly respect you, or who could look up to you, or who could love you in any kind of way. Because if you use it forcefully, it's just it's a layer, and that layer people cannot enter it. So this is why to look into FE is so important. And the whole thing of go for your second function, don't go for a third function, that's something I still struggle with. I catch myself much faster, of course, and it's much better, but this is just something I think everybody has to deal with, that naturally we tend to go for our third function instead of our second function, because in the beginning it's difficult. You have to exert energy for it, especially if you're an introvert and going extrovert. You letting people know who you are by the way you present yourself, by the way you talk, by the tone of your voice, everything. If you say nonverbal communication is over 90%, that's FE. That's all FE, right? You really do that. And if you have it as a creative function, you're actively doing this. So you got to be aware of it. And the whole thing with the third function is pretty much me saying, respect me. I want you to respect me. Or you just having a presence around yourself that suggests and tells everybody, if you don't respect me, I'm going to block you. I'm going to remove you from your life. You don't exist for me. That's the difference. The one thing is TI of me trying to explain something, and the other thing is me being something. And every time I catch myself that I keep on talking about something that I want to be seen as, I want to feel like this. I want to feel let's say I want to feel good about myself. I don't need to be talking about it so much. I need to show it through my actions. And this is not something because I want people to see it in a specific way. I just know if I do that, it's better for me, because naturally I create a new emotional atmosphere, and I attract everybody who has the same vision or who wants to see me the way I want to see myself. And I make everybody who doesn't see me the way I want to be seen just look the other way, because this is just not their world. So the more you really do this precise FE thing, the more you create this atmosphere of what you allow, who you are, and so on. And it can be very positive once you use it in a way of, I'm creating my introverted intuition. I'm using it in such a way that everything I feel at that moment, I just let out. That's the whole thing with combining FE with SE, of saying, I don't really create something in a way of, okay, if I think about it, it makes sense in the long term to position myself in that direction and so on. But you kind of feel what is right now? How do I want to feel right now? Am I even if you're not happy, we're all talking about, work on it, but it doesn't mean that you cannot let it out. Sometimes it's just important to let all of that out, because the more, not using FE is pretty much keeping a vessel on it. And if you, for example, use your FE in a way of, I'm creating this emotional atmosphere to harmonize with your world, you're still keeping something inside. It's just you just let out this little vessel you allow yourself, because that vessel is not gonna bother that other person. But if you really let out what you think, who you are, it's so precise. It gives other people such an impression of who you are that people will be taken, it's going to be weird. For some people, they're gonna see you for the first time. They're gonna realize what you're about. There's so much language in this, and people really understand much more who you are. As I said, nonverbal communication, it's 90% is nonverbal communication and everything you do not say, and that's everything there is with FE. So, and you can practice it. You can really, really practice it. And so somebody asked me if you get judgmental if you don't use your FE. Sort of. It's not because you don't use your FE, but it's pretty much, if you are somebody who tries to understand the world and tries to find meaning, make a system out of it, you're just gonna go into TI, into NITI, and there's always a judgment in it, because you kind of see another world, you don't like it, and then you have a judgment about it. But when you do FE, there is no real judgment about other people's world, as in a way of, I see you and I don't like you. I don't see so much that isn't in tune with who I want to be. That does not mean I cannot grow, because I actively, like, in order for me to grow, I have to generate more and more of this. And so I realize from time to time, I have FE things that just make me feel like, stay away from me. I'm not letting anybody in. And if you do that, then you're also going to be alone. There's not going to be a way for you to express your energy to more people. So for example, when I get into these topics that are more about, they're very, very precise and very specific, and I kind of like use, relatability. That's also something you express with FE. So if I have subconsciously the thought of, oh, I need to like sound smart because I don't think I'm smart enough, or I kind of doubt that. That's when things like this happen, where you feel like, okay, I'm the way I present myself is just not relatable to anybody. And then to realize, okay, you might think like this, but you shouldn't think like this. You're just as smart as everybody else. And if not, it doesn't matter, because you need to like work on yourself and being okay with yourself, and then grow from that, and to understand where those things are coming from and what happened in childhood and so on and so forth. But knowing I'm not supposed to feel like this. I'm never supposed to feel like I'm not smart enough, or I'm not whatever it is, that I need to constantly do things that are unrelatable to people, because this is not the stuff I watch. Like, I don't even go out and watch material that's like so deep and like, because I'm not watching stuff in order to like think, oh, that person is so smart. So that's, those are all the kind of things, if you really want to analyze it and go deeper into it, of how do you want to like FE to be? Like, I want to use my FE, yes, to keep some people out, because I completely forget sometimes, but I see it when I have people following me, and then we kind of get into like a Facebook friendship, and then I see on their pages what other people write and what they allow other people to write on their page. I'm like, I'm glad I don't see this at all in my life. Like, but as I said, I come from the other extreme. I'm so, everything has to be that peaceful that nobody can touch it. But if you're doing it to such an extent, you don't have a common ground with people, and you need to have like an emotional atmosphere to such a point that you say, the most of the time, like, it gives me such peace, but at the same time, I'm open to the things we all have in common. And that's not just for me, but more like, okay, let's think about it and be a little bit more open and not make so much judgment. Or if I do judgment, it's like more of a judgment of, I want to connect. I want to use FE as more of a harmony space to allow more people into my world, so I can grow from that, so I can learn, so I can see what people are actually interested in. And so there are a lot of aspects that play into this, but that's what FE is about. It's not about creating harmony. That's just like one thing you can do with FE. You can create terror with FE. You can create, hate with FE. You can create like everything. Like, it's just like a language. It's a language of nonverbal communication, of making people feel what you feel about yourself, who you are, how you want people to see you, and so on. So it is something you do create, and sometimes we feel, well, if I create it, then it's not real. It's not who I am. I create it. But you can create an emotional atmosphere that matches the way you want to feel inside, and what kind of people you allow around yourself, and all of that. So that's how we use FE. And so if you feel like, well, I don't like myself, I don't, all of those things, then you're gonna project that out somehow. But if you say, well, I might not like myself right now, but I wanna like myself. I wanna become a person who loves herself, or like who loves himself. You just start by expressing things in a way of, how would I express myself and how would I show up if I was happy with my life? And the more you do that, the more you'll change internally. So you can use that switch to change. Before you feel great, you're gonna do the things, you're gonna step up, you're gonna show up and be the person you wanna be, act like the person you wanna be, and then you'll see how internally you adapt to that. But always in the back, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing, let's say, FE in this way until I have somebody want for me, and then I can let go of my guard and let out everything. If I say, well, I wanna be that person, and I set this FE standard of this is how I wanna show up, then I do this with the knowledge that this is where I'm gonna stay. I might have go back and not be able to hold it, but I'm not doing it as a manipulation tactic. And if I win somebody over, then I let out everything. This is the standard I set for myself. And I always want to be like this, or as often as I can be. I want this to be my authentic version. And the more you do that, the more this becomes like your new reality. You become more used to it because you practice it, and you don't feel like it's difficult anymore. And then when you want to grow and you set like a higher standard for your FE, it's like just like the step before, because the step before has become your new reality so far. Okay, I hope that helped you. Let me know in the comments what kind of things you want to know of, like when it comes to functions or other videos. Like, I'm always curious to get ideas. Let me know what you think about the topic. And if you want me to help you with your life and getting good at life, this is also how my online course is called. It's coming out in the end of January. But if you're interested in coaching and me helping you to get there as well, check out the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I wish you a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.